Hey guys, this is Korean Danny. Today, we're going to talk about something that defines how idols are. Made the training systems of K-pop and P-poppy. When you watch a K-pop stage, what's the first thing you notice? Perfect synchronization, sharp choreography, and idols who look like they've rehearsed every second of the performance years. That doesn't happen by accident. It comes from one of the strictest training systems in the entertainment world. Now compare that to P-pop. Groups like SB19 or BINI also perform with great skill, but the way they are trained is more flexible, less rigid, and more connected to daily life. In fact, the difference between the two systems says a lot about the cultures they come from. Korea emphasizes discipline, perfection, and competition. The Philippines, on the other hand, puts more value on relatability, community, and personal growth. So here's the question we'll answer in this video. Why is K-pop training so strict? And why is P-pop training more flexible? And more importantly, what do these differences mean for the idols and the fans who support them? Throughout this video, we'll break down the K-pop trainee system, look at how P-pop idols grow, and explore the cultural values that shape each path. By the end, you'll see that it's not just about music. It's about two very different ways of creating stars. To understand why K-pop idols look so perfect on stage, you first need to understand the trainee system. It all starts with auditions. Thousands of young people line up for a chance to join an entertainment company, but only a handful are chosen. Those who pass become trainees, and from that moment, their lives change completely. Training is intense. A typical day for a K-pop trainee includes hours of vocal lessons, dance practice, language study, and even media training. Many practice more than 10 hours a day, often late into the night. They live in dormitories managed by the company, follow strict diets, and have limited freedom. Some are teenagers balancing this with school, but many end up sacrificing normal student life altogether. What makes the system unique is the competition inside. Not every trainee debuts. Companies keep dozens of trainees at once, and only the best survive to make it into a group. This means years of work can still end with nothing. It sounds harsh, but there is a reason. This system produces idols who are not just singers, but all-around performers able to sing live, dance with perfect synchronization, and speak to global fans. It's a system designed for perfection, and that's why K-pop became such a global force. One of the things that truly sets K-pop apart is not just the training, but the pressure and discipline that come with it. Life as a trainee is highly controlled. Companies often regulate every detail from diet and weight to how much sleep trainees get. Many are required to keep journals of their daily meals, while trainers check their weight regularly. Strict exercise routines are also part of the system, because appearance is considered just as important as vocal or dance skills. Phones and outside contact are limited. Some companies restrict social media or even friendships outside the training circle because they want trainees to focus fully on improvement. For teenagers, this can feel like living in a bubble cut off from the normal experiences their friends are having. The mental pressure is just as tough. Every week, evaluations determine who improves and who falls behind. A single bad performance can mean losing your spot, and years of training can disappear overnight. The competition isn't just with other groups, it's inside the practice room, among fellow trainees. Imagine practicing 10 hours a day next to your friends, knowing one of you may debut while the others go home with nothing. Still, this extreme discipline has its results. K-pop idols are some of the most polished performers in the world. They don't just sing and dance, they master facial expressions, stage presence, and audience control. This is why global fans are amazed at their precision. But the cost is heavy stress, burnout, and sometimes even health problems. Here's the truth. K-pop's discipline builds perfection, but it also creates enormous pressure. Those who survive the system become world-class idols, but many talented trainees are lost along the way. It's a system of both dreams and sacrifices. Now let's turn to P-pop, Because the way idols grow in the Philippines is very different from Korea. When you look at groups like SB19, it's true that they were trained under a system inspired by K-pop. In fact, their early training followed many of the same strict methods: long practice hours, focus on choreography, and professional-level discipline. But over time, the industry in the Philippines started to adapt, creating a model that's less rigid and more connected to local culture. For many P-pop idols, training doesn't mean giving up their normal lives completely. Some continue studying in school while preparing for performances. Others balance part-time jobs or family responsibilities alongside their idol journey. Instead of being locked away in dorms with strict rules, they often stay rooted in their communities. This flexibility means idols can bring more of their real personalities and daily experiences into their music and fan interactions. Another key difference is the relationship with fans. P-pop idols are more accessible, holding live streams, interacting directly on social media, and often engaging with fans in casual, down-to-earth ways. The training model doesn't separate them from their audience as much as K-pop does. Instead, it emphasizes relatability and approachability. Because of this, P-pop idols tend to develop a strong bond with their audience early on. Fans feel like they're growing together with the idols, not just watching a polished product. The performances might not always have the same flawless perfection as K-pop, but they have a sense of authenticity and connection that resonates deeply with Filipino culture. Of course, this flexibility also has challenges. Without the same level of rigorous structure, some groups may lack the sharp synchronization or consistent quality control seen in K-pop. But for many fans, that imperfection is part of the charm. It feels real. So here's the point. P-pop's growth model is flexible, community-driven, and rooted in everyday life. Idols balance their personal lives with their careers, making them more relatable. The system values connection over control, personality over perfection. And in a culture that prizes community and warmth, that flexibility is not a weakness. It's the reason P-pop feels so alive. To really understand why K-pop and P-pop training systems are so different, you have to look beyond the companies and into the cultures that shape them. In Korea, culture emphasizes discipline, order, and perfection. These values are rooted in both history and society. Education is competitive, workplaces demand efficiency, and young people grow up in an environment where success often depends on how much effort and sacrifice you can endure. The K-pop trainee system is just an extension of this cultural mindset. Trainees are expected to dedicate everything to their craft, to follow strict rules, and to constantly compete until only the best remain. The result is idols who are polished to near perfection. But the cost is high stress, pressure, and limited personal freedom. In the Philippines, culture works differently. Community, warmth, and relatability are at the center of daily life. Families are close-knit, neighbors know each other, and music is part of gatherings, festivals, and everyday moments. Because of this, the idol training system naturally reflects these values. P-pop idols are encouraged to remain accessible, to stay connected to their communities, and to bring their authentic selves to the stage. Instead of being hidden away and trained in isolation, they grow alongside their fans, who see both the struggles and the triumphs of the journey. Another important factor is how each society defines success. In Korea, success often means reaching the top, being the best, standing out, and representing national pride on a global stage. In the Philippines, success is more about connection, sharing joy, inspiring others, and bringing people together. That's why K-pop groups aim for flawless perfection, while P-pop groups often embrace authenticity and imperfection as part of their charm. So the training systems are not random, they are cultural products. K-pop's strictness mirrors Korea's drive for achievement. P-pop's flexibility mirrors the Philippines' love of community and relatability. Both approaches work in their own ways, because they align with what their cultures value most. Here's the key takeaway: K-pop trains idols to impress, while P-pop grows idols to connect. And that cultural difference is what makes the global music scene richer and more diverse. Now that we've looked at how K-pop and P-pop systems work, let's break down the advantages and disadvantages of each approach. Starting with K-pop's strict system. The biggest advantage is quality. Idols who survive the training are some of the most professional performers in the world. Their synchronization, vocal stability, stage presence, and even interview skills are top-notch. This discipline makes K-pop groups stand out globally. Fans know that when they watch a K-pop performance, they're going to see something close to flawless. The system also builds resilience idols, who debut have already proven they can handle extreme pressure, which helps them on global stages. But the downside is just as clear. The pressure is intense, and many trainees burn out before debut. Even those who make it often carry stress, health problems, or a sense of lost youth. The system can feel inhuman, producing idols who are perfect on stage but struggling off stage. For fans, this sometimes creates distance. They admire the perfection, but don't always feel close to the idols as people. Now, let's look at P-pop's flexible system. Its biggest strength is relatability. Fans feel like they're growing with the idols, not just consuming a finished product. Because idols are allowed more freedom, they show more of their authentic selves, making it easier for fans to connect. The community-driven nature of the system also builds loyalty. Performances may not always be perfect, but they feel alive, real, and deeply human. The trade-off is that sometimes P-pop groups lack the polish that international audiences expect. Without the same level of rigorous training, synchronization may be weaker, and consistency can vary. This makes it harder to compete globally on the same scale as K-pop, which is known for its perfection. So what's the conclusion? K-pop's strictness creates world-class performance, but demands sacrifice. P-pop's flexibility creates relatability and joy, but risks inconsistency. Neither system is absolutely better. They simply reflect different priorities. K-pop is about building stars who can impress the world. P-pop is about building idols who feel like friends, who fans can grow alongside. Both approaches add value to the global music scene, because perfection and authenticity both have their place. We've now explored the two very different systems that create idols: K-pop's strict, disciplined trainee program, and P-pop's flexible, community-driven growth model. In K-pop, the system is built for perfection. Years of training, strict rules, and endless evaluations produce idols who can perform at the highest level. The result is global recognition, flawless synchronization, and world-class professionalism. But that perfection comes at a cost: mental pressure, physical exhaustion, and the sacrifices of youth. For fans, K-pop idols can sometimes feel like untouchable stars, admired from a distance. In P-pop, the system prioritizes flexibility and relatability. Idols often balance personal life with training, stay connected to their communities, and interact openly with fans. The performances may not always be flawless, but they feel authentic, real, and human. This approach builds strong bonds between idols and their supporters, creating fandoms that feel like family. The trade-off is that consistency and polish can sometimes be weaker, making it harder to compete globally. So what does this mean for the future? Neither system is absolutely right or wrong. They represent two philosophies of music and culture. K-pop shows us the power of discipline, ambition, and excellence. P-pop shows us the beauty of authenticity, warmth, and connection. Together, they enrich the global music scene by giving fans both perfection to admire and relatability to embrace. And now, I want to hear from you. Which approach do you prefer? Do you admire the strict discipline and flawless results of K-pop? Or do you connect more with the flexible, authentic growth of P-pop? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know your perspective. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss more deep dives into music and culture. This is Korean Danny, and I'll see you in the next video.